up? Welcome back to my channel, and if you are new, my name is Ariana Janae, and you know what time it is. Time for another PLL recap. So on last night's episode, it started off with the girls just sitting around talking, and Aria asked Hannah a few questions about how she spoke to her fiance and told him about all the A stuff and just that whole situation, because she hasn't told her boyfriend Liam yet, and she's just trying to ask around and see how she did it. And then they're talking about the whole investigation, and Aria's like, well, none of us left the hotel room. None of us left. It's fine. That's it. So it was kind of weird. And then Hannah comes up to her at the end, after all the other girls leave, and she's like, I know you left the room. And of course, they have to give us something to keep watching with, so they put this title sequence in there. And this time, Emily did the shh, so I was really happy, because y'all know I didn't like Allie doing that. So Hannah's talking to Aria, and she's like, yeah, I know you left, and she's like, I got up at 3 to hydrate, and I saw that you had left. And then Aria says that she went to go to her car to get a car charger or something like that, and Hannah's like, no, you didn't. I know you didn't. That doesn't take that long. And Aria's like, no, you were drunk. You threw up in the bathtub. She's like, I didn't do that. That was Emily. And then Aria's like, well, whatever. And so she ends up leaving. So we move along to Spencer's house, and Caleb is there. And Caleb pulls up some articles about Spencer. The media is kind of going crazy because they are trying to pin the death of Charlotte as a murder. Of course, she did get murdered, but they're trying to pin it on the girls, and specifically Spencer, since Spencer's mom is running for office. So Spencer's mom is like, well, just don't worry about it. I've got everything under control. I have my people shut it down, and we'll figure out something to do. And then Caleb and Spencer, they're talking and stuff, and they just have this weird connection. I do not like them together. I don't know what they're doing with them. Stop. I don't like them as a couple. That is so bad on both of their parts. Hannah, hello. So anyway, Spencer tells Caleb that she's glad he's here, and he's like, I am too. And I'm like, stop. So the next scene, we see Allie sitting in the police office, and she sees Sarah there, and Sarah looks at her. You know how Sarah be looking at people? She just be like, so she was looking at Allie like that, and Allie was just like, and then Allie goes into the room with the little fine light-skin officer, and he's like, we think that Sarah couldn't have done it because the burns on her hands are too bad, so we're going to take her off the list of suspects. He also tells Allie the autopsy report and how they found out that Charlotte her neck was already broken before she fell from the tower, or before she was pushed from the tower, or whatever happened. And yeah, Lorenzo, the little fine officer, he's like, so do you think your friends had anything to do with this? And she's like, oh no, not at all. And he's like, well, are you sure? So next we flash to Emily, and she's setting up some type of appointment, and at first I was like, oh my gosh, she's doing a drug deal. No, Emily, don't go down that road, girl. Then her mom comes into the room, and she asked her if she went to the burial, the actual graveyard, the cemetery. Oh, talking too fast. She's asked if she went to the cemetery when they buried Charlotte, and she said no, she just went to the ceremony, and then she came home. And her mom was like, oh, okay, well, that's the same cemetery your dad is buried at. And she asked her if she wants to go over there and water the flowers and bring some new flowers, just to visit him and stuff. And Emily snaps at her, and she's like, no, I don't want to visit him. It's not like I could see him, or whatever she said. Something, it was just a snap reaction. I was like, But anyway, she lied and told her mom that she was going to go see Allison, and that she was just being there for her during this whole time or whatever. And I think she barely has been seeing Allison. She's just lying. And so Emily's just been lying. So next, we finally are introduced to Jordan, aka Hannah's fiance, and he's British or some. Is he Australian? No, he's British. He's got to be British with that. He's sometimes it's hard to tell the difference sometimes. Well, whatever, he's exotic, and he surprises Hannah, and he's like, yeah, she's like, what are we celebrating? He's like, oh, just us. And he has all these these different dishes and red velvet cupcakes. Look so good. I was hungry while I was watching this episode. And he tells her that someone in his family is letting them use his estate in the Hamptons for their wedding. What? That is so nice. That is so Jordan. See, I like Jordan so far. I still like Caleb better. Maybe Spencer can go with Jordan and leave. No, I want Spencer with Toby. Toby wasn't in this episode either. That was weird. I was missing him. Anyway, so they have their little moment, and then we see Arya next, and she goes to visit Ezra, and she knocks on the door, and he's like, oh, come in, I wasn't expecting you, and she was like, oh, no, you know, my plane's about to leave, but just so you know, we didn't see each other the night of Charlotte's death, like, we never saw each other, and he was like, whatever you say, Arya. It was kind of creepy, like, it kind of creeped me a little bit, like, ooh. So that was kind of weird, but she ends up leaving and she flies back, and then we flash to Emily, who's in the doctor's office. So the doctor's like injecting her, and she's like, oh, you'll get used to the injections. And I think back to the first episode with the needles coming out of her purse, so I'm like, oh my gosh, it's not like bad drugs, like she is sick, like something's wrong with her. And the doctor kept saying something about treatments and stuff like that. I'm like, oh my gosh, what's going on? Does she have cancer? Like, what's going on? Emily, what's going on? Girl, tell us. We are here for you. But anyway, she's talking to the doctor. She tells the doctor that she's going to Pepperdine in California. And the doctor's like, well, I think you should stay in one place while you're getting your treatments. It's just best. She's like, oh, okay. So I don't know if that means she's going to stay in Rosewood for a while, or if she's just gonna go. Well, obviously I think she's gonna stay because she hasn't really said anything about going back to California, but she tells her she's in school and she tells her she's working, and I don't know, it's all kind of confused. I honestly do not know what's going on with Emily right now, because I don't know what are the lies. I don't know what's the truth with her. Like, all I know is that she's been injecting herself with needles, and the doctor's injecting her with needles, and she's been popping pills. I guess they're prescription pills, and something's really wrong with her, and I know her father passed. And that's really it. Like, I have no idea what's going on with her. Like, there's so many lies. It's so hard to keep up with. So we flash to Hannah and Spencer. They are with Allie at Allie's place, and Allie's telling them about the autopsy report, and they found out that, you know, her neck was broken before she was tossed from the, the bell tower, and her nails and skin, I think, or her nails and hands were completely cleaned, like the dirt from underneath. And so Spencer gets this like weird look, like, what in the world? And then what's her face, Allie, she's like, oh yeah, have you ever heard from Arya? She keeps bringing up Arya. She's like, well, Arya left early, and I saw her dad said she left earlier than she was supposed to, so I just don't know what's going on. And she's like kind of like getting suspicious with Arya. And Hannah has this look on her face because Hannah knows that she left. So Hannah's like, oh man, I know something. Dang. So she has this like troubled look on her face. And then Allie invites them all to dinner. She's like, yeah, I just want to have dinner tonight. Yeah, blah, 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 blah. So they're like, oh yeah, that's fine. Now I have a question for you guys because I don't really know this one. Where's Jason and where's Papa De Laurentiis? Like, did they say where they are? Like, where did they go? Did they die? No, Jason didn't die because we talked about him last time. Did Daddy De Laurentiis die? What is going on with them? There's so many questions already, y'all. I'm exhausted. So anyway, we flash to Arya in her place of work, and she gets a call from Allie. She declines the call, and then she's called into a meeting. So like everybody goes into the meeting except for her and the guy that's in the cubicle next to her. And as soon as everybody's like gone, they like hug each other, start kissing, and I'm like, this is Liam. He's no Ezra. So they're pretty much just like hiding their relationship, I guess, because it's like in the workplace and you're not supposed to like, what's it called, love your co-workers or whatever. So they're like hiding their relationship, and he like says, oh man, like he's like talking about the murder, and he's like, man, that's so sad, da, da, da. And it's obvious he doesn't know like who Charlotte was and like what she did to Arya. I think Arya, I mean I guess she could tell him, but I think it would be, I don't know. She didn't tell him, so I think they're gonna break up soon in the beginning. She's gonna be back with Ezra, so that's probably why she didn't tell him. So whatever, yeah. So Emily's leaving the doctor's office, and her card isn't working at the little like ticket validation thing. And this lady comes up and like pays for her thing for her. She's like, it was like, I don't have any cash, and she's like, oh no, it's fine. And then like Emily's like kind of like frantic a little bit, and the lady's like, are you okay? And she's like, yeah, I'm fine. And then she just kind of like leaves. So moving along, we see Spencer and Caleb together again. I don't like this. But they're together, and Spencer shows Caleb this paper that she wrote in her sophomore year of college, and it was like a study on a murder, and it was like a bride who was they tried to make it seem like a suicide, but it wasn't. It was actually a murder, and her neck was broken before she was thrown from wherever she was thrown, and her nails and her skin were clean, just like Cece. Caleb says it's just like a big coincidence, but like honestly, like in Rosewood, there's never a such thing as a coincidence. Somebody knows that paper, and somebody is trying to get Spencer and the girl. Somebody's out for more revenge. How many people did they upset? How many people who be trying to come for them? I just don't understand. How do you get that many people mad at you? Y'all better be the nicest girls for the rest of y'all's lives, because people are coming out to get y'all. So we move on back to Aria at her job, and she's like in a meeting. It's her, Liam, and their boss, and Aria tells the boss like how Ezra said he's gonna give back his advance, and that he doesn't really well, pretty much that he's not gonna write the book. And the boss is like mad, and she's like, well, you said you had a relationship with him, didn't you? And she's like, he was my teacher. So obviously they don't know that she was with him, like together. And so the boss like takes her off of his like thing or whatever, and she's like, Liam, you're on it. And Aria's like, no, please, like I'm the only person who will be able to get him to do this book, like please just let me. And she's like, Liam, you can stay. The boss says that. And then so Aria has to like leave. Like she didn't even say Aria leave, she said Liam, you can stay. Like what the heck? That lady was mean. That lady was so mean. So next we see Emily again, and she's going to the brew, and when she goes in, she sees the same lady that paid for her ticket, and turns out the lady's the manager of the brew. She became manager after the whole thing happened with Nicole and Ezra, like when they went overseas or whatever. And Emily asked her, she's like, hey, can you like not tell anyone you saw me outside the medical center? And she was like, well, who am I gonna tell? And she's like, well, I just don't want anyone to worry, it's fine. And then the girl tells her, she's like, well, I had cancer a few years ago, and I didn't want anyone to worry about me as well. But she's like, you'll find out that the best thing to do is to have them there to support you, to like be on your side, and blah blah blah. And then Emily's like, well, thank you, but the last thing I need is for my mom to have something else to worry about. And the lady's like, okay. Anyway, so we move along to Allie's dinner, and Spencer, I'm thinking it's Spencer, brings Caleb to the dinner. Caleb wasn't Allie's friend. Caleb was not Allie's friend. Allie didn't invite him to come. I think it was Spencer. Spencer invited him. So after dinner, Emily's talking to Hannah. Like Hannah's asking like what she does at something, and Hannah's saying, Emily's saying something, and I honestly I like zoned out because there's so many lines. I didn't need to take in any more information from Emily. If y'all know what's going on with her, like give me like the truth of what her situation is, like what we know is the truth, because I'm so confused. Like what is she doing? Is she working in a thing helping people or whatever she was telling Hannah? Is she just, what is she doing? What is she doing? Anyway, so yeah, Hannah's like, well, you fix people and I dress them or whatever she was saying. So Caleb and Jordan are putting together the table for their whole dinner or whatever, and Caleb is like, oh, we're putting this piece on backwards, I have a table just like it. And Jordan's like, oh, the one with the scratch on it. He's like, that's the first piece of furniture we put in our house. Hannah won't get rid of it. And Caleb kind of like smirks a little bit, like not like a rude smirk to Jordan, but just like kind of like a, oh, that's like sweet type of smirk. So he was like, oh. And so Caleb ends up going to the little pantry to look for wine glasses, and then Spencer comes over to help finish with the table, and she's talking to Jordan, and he's like asked about her and Caleb, and she says like they met up like a few years ago or something like that, and he's like the only person she like keeps in contact, like she keeps in contact with him the most out of everyone, which means out of like Hannah and Aria and Emily, like girls. So she like tells him how they like re-met or whatever, how like somebody called her name, she turned around, he was like standing across the street or whatever, and Jordan's like, oh, that must have been amazing. And she's like, it was. I said, girl, no, it wasn't. You a traitor, Spencer. Don't bring your men around, Spencer. She'll take them. She'll take them. So Caleb and Hannah are both in the little pantry. Caleb's looking for wine glasses, like I said before, and Hannah's looking for a wine bottle opener. And so he tells her, he's like, Jordan seems like a cool guy, you know, I meant to tell you congratulations. And she's like, yeah, thank you. And then he asked about the table, and she's like, yeah, I still have it. Or she's like, yeah, of course. And it was kind of like a little bonding moment there for them. I was like, Caleb, y'all are meant to be. Y'all are meant to be. Stop fighting fate. Get out of my arm pop. So we flash to the actual dinner, and Allie's getting off the phone with someone. It turns out it was with Lorenzo, aka Fine, light-skinned police officer. And he tells her that they found out the time of death is around 4 a.m. And they're like, wow. And Allie said, I mean, it's a good thing because now it like narrows it down. So they're one step closer to find out who the killer actually is. And then, so she's like, okay, it was like an awkward silence for a second. Like it was like real awkward. Like I felt awkward. I wasn't even in the room. I was just like it's that awkward silence where you can hear people swallowing and just awkward. Like you can hear people like tongue moving in the mouth and stuff. Like it was that quiet and awkward. I was like, can somebody make a noise? Could someone make a noise? But anyway, so Allie's like, well, let's say grace. So they all like hold hands or whatever. And Allie, I was like, oh my gosh, like they're praying. Like y'all go. Like y'all find y'all's faith. Jesus wouldn't let this happen to y'all. And so they're praying or whatever. And then Allie turns the prayer into like something totally different. Like that's not how you pray, girl. She was like, I wrote it down. Hold on. And thank you for helping the police find Charlotte's killer and anyone that could be protecting him or her. And like everybody like looked up and like their eyes were like looking like, what in the world, what is she saying? So like later on, Spencer and Hannah were talking, and Spencer was like, was that aimed towards us? And then Hannah was like, well, Aria maybe. And Spencer was like, what? And then Hannah told her, like, you know, Aria left. Like I saw her leave. And when I asked her about it, she like completely lied about it. And so Spencer's like, well, why don't you like look at the security footage? She's like, I haven't done that since high school. I'm like, girl, Hannah, you were the pro at this kind of stuff, girl. Like you better pull out those high school shindigs or whatever and get to it. So yeah. So later on, Emily's at the brew with her mom, and her phone buzzes, and her mom sees, and it's from Hollis Medical Center. And the mom kind of like starts freaking out a little bit. She's like, Hollis, like, are you okay? Like, what's going on? And she's like, yeah, no, it's an interview for grad school. I'm like, another lie, Emily? Another lie? How many lies? I can't keep up with your lies. How are you keeping up with your lies? Like, girl. And then her mom spills a secret, which could be a clue to what's going on with Emily. She's like, well, your dad left you all that money, for things like this. So she's like, just take out a loan for the rest. She's like, I'm so proud of you, Emmy. And Emily's like, because she's lying. So Aria comes back to town to speak to Ezra to try and get him to write his second book or finish his second book. And so he knocks on his door or whatever. His place is a mess. It's like crazy. Like he's really going through it. And she tells him that they're not taking back the advance, and he's like, but you won't like the second book. And she's like, what? And he pulls out like a hard drive, and he's like, this is what I have so far or whatever. So she gets the hard drive, and then she stops and she asks him, she said, where did you go that night after we met up? And he like looked at her, and then he looked away, and he was like, home. Aria went home. So once again, Caleb and Spencer are together. This is really upsetting me. They're together, whatever. They flirting. She's talking about, you sure you okay sleeping on the couch? Where else is he gonna sleep, Spencer? He's not sleeping in the bed with you. Let him sleep on the couch or on the floor. Or if you want to give him a bed, you sleep on the couch or on the floor, or go sleep in your backyard where the people been buried and dead and stuff. Stop trying to steal Hannah's man, even though she has another man. But it's fun. It's Halo forever. It's not cancer. It's not Salem. Like that's what? Stop, Spencer. Then they start reminiscing. They were like, it's been 3 years since Madrid and the bullfighting. You made me cry. And they're just laughing and bonding and stuff. I didn't like it. It made my skin crawl. It made the hairs on the back of my neck stand up. It made my mustache grow. I did not like that. And then they started talking about how it was the best night they ever had in Europe. Y'all nasty. Like, stop. So then during this little happy moment or whatever, Spencer gets a text from Hannah, and Hannah tells her that she got the keys for the security room. So they all meet up. So it's Hannah, Emily, Spencer at the security room, and they see the footage, and they see Aria meeting up with Ezra. So later on, they see her come in at 4:28 a.m. and they know that the murder happened at 4 a.m. So they're like, well, it doesn't mean that she's the murderer, but it's not going to look good to like the police and other people. So they end up going and meeting up with Aria and asking her to pretty much like corner her and gang up on her and be like, what is going on, girl? Stop lying to us. Where was you? No, I can't use grammar like that. Where were you? So Aria tells them that she met up with Ezra and like they went to go just hang out. She was like, I just want to get away. I just want to get out of here for a little bit. So they like were just walking around and they saw Charlotte, and Charlotte went to was walking inside the church, and they weren't sure. They were like, what do we do? Aria was like, do we call the police? And like Ezra was like, well, we can't now. Like she's free. Like this is, she can do what we're doing. Like we're doing this. She can do the exact same thing. It doesn't matter now. She's free. And she was like, that's scary. And he's like, it's not fair how like people like Nicole get like disappear, or and then people like Charlotte just get to walk around like scotch free. And he was like, they were supposed to go get pizza, like that's why they were walking. They were going to the taxi and they're about to go to this like pizza shop, like a late night pizza shop or whatever. And then like he changes his mind all of a sudden. He's like, well, I think it's getting late and I think you should go home. Sorry, I almost fell. I was balancing on one foot. But anyway, she was like, he was like, I think you should go home, you know, get home now, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, okay. You know, she's a little drunk, so she ends up getting in a taxi. She goes home, and, like, we don't know what happens with Ezra. And that's when she tells him that she just talked to him, and she asked him where he went, and that he didn't look her in the eye. And, like, she was like, and anytime he's ever lied to me, it's always been, like, when he can't look me in the eye. And so they're like, well, Hannah's like, well, do we call the police? Like, do we call somebody? Allie, Lorenzo, like, what do we do? And then Emily's like, well, it's a far stretch. Let's not call anyone just yet. And then Spencer's like, it's not that far of a stretch. And I think I told him how to do it. I'm like, Lord Jesus, Spencer. So it turns out Spencer met up with Ezra during his book tour and they had lunch. I'm telling y'all, keep Spencer away from young me and Ezra, Caleb. Who else? Anyway, she met up with him, and I guess like she showed him her paper or whatever, and they were like, well, he probably did it to protect you, Aria, because of what you said in the courtroom. I'm like, don't y'all put that on her. Don't put that on her. She was the only one to stand up and tell the truth. Like, y'all do not put that on her. So Aria's like, well, nobody can see that footage. Like, nobody can see that. Yeah, girl, nobody can see that because you have to go to jail. So later on, Spencer shows her mom the paper too, and she just wanted to like go ahead and tell her, like show her, so just in case anyone tried to you know, use it against her, then her mom would already know about it and they could like come up with something to like, you know, go against it or whatever. Her mom said they're already working on a plan. Like Caleb was putting together some kind of like cyberbullying campaign, like showing how Spencer was cyberbullied and stuff, and like just to try and like diffuse anything else that surfaced. So her mom was like, it's fine, honey, it's fine. So next we see Emily at the cemetery, and she's finally visiting her dad, and she's just like confessing everything to him. And it turns out like she failed like 2 of her classes and like lost her scholarship, and she wanted to tell her mom, but her mom was already like so sad about her dad passing and stuff, and like she just couldn't do it. So I don't know if she's not in school right now or if she just went back to California just to like work, but yeah, she like messed up, so she lost her scholarship. And I don't know, maybe she spent all of her money that her dad left for her on school, maybe. I'm not quite sure, but we'll find out. So she's like crying, and then all of a sudden she hears a twig break. She turns around and it is Sarah Harvey. Y'all already know how I feel about Sarah. So then Emily like looks scared and like runs. And I'm like, girl, didn't you like punch her in the face of the season finale last season? Like, girl, like why are you afraid of her? You know you can just knock her right out. Pow, pow. But yeah, she just got up and she just like ran. Next we see Aria. She's like looking up Nicole's like disappearance and like the disappearances and like the murders, like where they were going to do the Habitat for Humanity or like the houses or whatever they were doing. She like looks it up and she's like really, really sad, and then she declines a call from her boyfriend. And then we see Hannah next, and she's deleting the footage from the security thing, and I'm like, ooh girl, it's gonna come back to bite you. I already know. But yeah, she deletes the footage of Aria leaving the hotel. So next we see Allie, and she's with Lorenzo, aka Fine Light Skin Police Officer. And she tells him, she's like, hey, like, you remember when you said, did my friends get involved? And I said, no. And he's like, yeah, did you change your mind? She's like, yeah. I'm like, girl, who you throwing under the bus? You better stop. Out. If you don't know how I feel about Allie, go watch last week's recap. I'll tell you exactly how I feel. So finally, the final scene of the episode, someone drops some flowers on a grave, and we can't see a name or anything. It's just a pile of dirt, but you can see the name of the tomb next to it. I paused really fast and I said Jessica De Laurentiis, so I'm guessing it was Charlotte's grave. And yeah, the person like gets into a car, and then the person, like the man who was like holding the door for them, was like, I'm sorry for your loss. And I guess the person got in the car, and like that was it. So I'm like, who is this A-B person now? Who is this? So my thoughts on this episode, obviously it's not Ezra, because they're trying too hard to make it look like it was Ezra, and it's only the second episode, and we still have a few more seasons to go. Like, this is only season 6B. I think we still have another couple of seasons left, so obviously we're not going to find out anything soon. We already thought Ezra was A before, and he was writing a book, so I don't know what's going on now. Maybe he's just doing more research for his book. I don't know, but yeah. So I don't think it's him. Mona was missing in this episode. Toby was missing in this episode. And of course Jason was missing in this episode. Melissa's supposed to come back next episode, and Hannah's finally gonna confront Spencer about stealing her man. Oh, I can't wait to see that one. But yeah, so leave me your theories in the comments below. I love reading them and like reading what y'all say, and like if I missed anything, definitely let me know. I love when y'all tell me stuff that I missed, or if I got something wrong, then definitely let me know so I'm not out here looking like a fool or saying the wrong stuff. So yeah, definitely let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. If I get enough thumbs ups, then I will do another one next week. Last week y'all seemed to really like it. I didn't get a whole bunch of thumbs ups, but y'all were commenting a lot on it, so I decided to make one this week anyway. So I guess if I get a lot of comments and some thumbs, then I will continue doing this, and I'll do another one for next week. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you are notified when I make new videos, and don't forget to turn your notifications on, because I've been having a problem. People aren't getting my videos in their actual like subscriptions, like when my videos are uploaded. So make sure to turn your notifications on so you can actually be notified every time I make a new video. That's it. Alright guys, I will see you next time. These are my notes, so just ignore it. It's on my phone with my lips. I'll see you guys next time. Bye!